In this video, I am going to follow up with the next level miniatures that I purchased and show them off now that I have some of them painted. So let's get into this. Welcome to Solitary RPG. A while back, I did a video showing off and talking about next level miniatures. This is a company that's doing seal cast miniatures, selling them for very reasonable prices. Some of their just character models, like regular warriors and dwarfs and elves, they're like $1.50 a model. So you could really add these into your collection. I did a video when they weren't painted, kind of talking about the company and what they're doing. Now that I've painted up a small collection of them, I want to show them off painted so you can really see the detail in these models. So let me clear my desk and we'll just start looking at them. All right, so we're really zoomed in on these models, and if you are a miniatures painter, sometimes when you zoom in on a model, you start seeing all of your mistakes. So please excuse my mistakes. You're probably seeing this model like 1 foot tall on a 75-inch TV, and it's really not. It's only about 1.5 inches. So this is the Dwarf model, and this model was a lot of fun to paint. You can really see that detail in that helmet. That scrolling work really turned out great. And the way I painted that is I dry brushed it white so that I could get all the details, and then I did a light dry brush of silver over it, which gave it kind of a brighter metallic look than everything else. So it's just one of the techniques I use of putting white bases down first and then painting over them to brighten up the colors. But yeah, this dwarf's detail is fantastic. So really fun model to paint. I really liked everything about it. And that is how the dwarf turned out. The other dwarf that I'm going to be using as a halfling, again, if you look at the braiding in the hair, you can really see the detail. And these models, they are $1.50 a piece, and they have some really sharp detail. Very crisp, stands out, great for dry brushing techniques. If you wanted to do that, or you can just go through with a detail brush and just pick out the individual things and really highlight the different colors. But this model is just awesome. Again, this is sold as a dwarf, but I don't know. It just doesn't have a dwarf vibe going on, but it definitely has a halfling vibe going on. So that's why I'm going to use it as a halfling for Warhammer Quest. So looking at the hair, you can see all the different strands of hair. It really stands out. I was trying to do kind of a muddy blonde look, so there's a little bit of a red tint, again complementing the hair to the red cloak, so that's why it has a red tint to it, because sometimes when painting, that's one of your things you can do to kind of tie everything together, is kind of give like a tint or like a glaze over some of the other colors of the bright color that you're using. In this case, it would be red. So yeah, turned out really nice. This warrior was fun to paint. Took me like 2 hours to get it all done to this level. So now you're going to notice none of my bases are painted. And I'm doing this intentionally. I've decided, since these are going to be used for Warhammer Quest and it's going to be on colorful boards, I got all the boards coming from Little Monk. So I'm not going to paint them because I want them to stand out. I want the miniature to stand out. And if I paint the base and I put them on a bright colored board, everything is going to get kind of lost. And I don't know if you've ever seen that with painted miniatures on a board game. They just get lost in the color. So this is one of the things I'm going to do to help my miniature stand out, because then there'll be a big black blob where the miniature is, and then I'll be able to see the miniature. I'm hoping it adds to the aesthetics of the game. But yeah, that's the warrior. Here is the witch hunter. This model is kind of hard to get up underneath that big brimmed hat, but look at that. Easy to paint, a lot of fun. I went for this worn leather look of the jacket. Was really simple. Everything's zenithal highlighted. I did a dark brown, and then because of the zenithal highlighting, there was a lot of lighter tone up here. Then I just glazed over it with a yellow. I got a yellow contrast, and I just glazed over it with that to give it kind of that worn leather look. It was a 2-step process. It wasn't hard at all. Again, awesome model. Loved it. This was a 2-piece model. This was one of the few 2-piece models. The crossbow was separate, but it fit beautifully and didn't have any problems with it. Again, going with the red trim to blend in with that yellow with a red tint to it. All very nice stuff. Those boots. Look at those boots. So then we have the Elf Ranger. So this was a fun model to paint. Trying to go with a very pale skin, so the light's really reflecting on it. Not much I can do about that, but going with a really pale skin. Some really good highlights on that green. I went with a really dark foresty kind of green, not like a pale green or a muted green. I wanted it to be more like a forest, kind of doing the whole elf thing. And then all the browns kind of complement their darker browns with just a little bit of highlighting to them. I was going for a bone bow. That's hard to get off the tongue. But that's what I was going for here. Just, I like it. I just really think it all complemented each other. The green is the primary color. That's what's going to draw your attention in. So just a really nice model. This is the other elf model that they have in their range. I was going for a very patinaed kind of armor, but I didn't want it to be silver. So it's got like a bronze undertone to it, and then highlighted with a mithril silver, just trying to give it that different look than like a typical armor. And that's what I was going for here. I really like how it turned out. Love the hairstyle. Flock of seagulls, here we come. But yeah, this is how I did my elf, assassin, or ranger. Very cool. Easy to paint this one. Mostly dry brush techniques. Went through with the bronze and then just dry brushed it while it was all one color. And then just went in and did all the detail work afterwards, which was really just the face and the cloak. The Barbarian. I had so much fun painting this model. Flesh tone is not my friend. I really struggle painting flesh tone. On camera, this looks fantastic, but in real life, it's a little duller because you don't have the lights reflecting on it, highlighting those areas. But this is how he turned out. I'm really dark brown tone because I wanted the attention to be drawn to the chest and the abs. If I had abs like that, that would be amazing. My wife would be so happy. But I have a keg belly. Anyways, so yeah, that was the focal point, is the chest. So that's where you don't have to paint your models 100% all the way through. You can just focus on certain areas. For this model, it's just the chest, and then everything else is just done very basic and drawing people's attention to the center. That's usually why you use certain colors, like on the warrior. Red is the color, so you're kind of drawn to this cape more than the rest of the model. And that's one thing that I like to do, is just keeping one main primary color to draw people's attention. So yeah, that is the Barbarian. Now if you look, and I'm going to bring this up closer. So if you look, you see that cut on his back, and you can see kind of a blood drip right there. That's how much details in these models. And this is $1.49. This model was like, you can get these all day long for $1.49. That's a phenomenal price. And you still have amazing detail in them. Just love it. All these models have just little bits of detail here and there that were thrown in. Now, me personally, I didn't paint that red. If I would have noticed it prior, I would have removed it completely because I don't like putting blood splatter on my models. I think it's distracting and I don't like it. That's a personal choice. So if I was to paint this model again, knowing that, I would remove that and just leave it as a scar. That's a personal choice. But everything else just pops on this model. Let's talk about rats. Rats. Now, these rat models are different than the ones offered by Next Level Miniatures because I've got a big rat sitting on top of them. And the big rats came from Green Stuff World. This is a company that I buy a lot of variety of different products from. And they were selling these resin rats. I think it was $5 for this pack. So I went ahead and picked them up. Shipping was ridiculous because they're out of the UK. So I picked up some other things as well, like bats and spiders and things like that. But the rats worked out good for putting them on top of the Next Level Miniatures Rat Swarm. Next Level Miniatures is getting ready to launch a new Kickstarter, and I don't know exactly what it's going to entail, but it is for dungeon encounters and things like that. So I don't know if they're going to redo a giant rat or not, but I went ahead and decided to try to make this change. I talked about it in my previous video where I was like, well, I'll just put a giant rat on top of the swarm. So that's what I did. Worked out good. And to be honest with you, this visually on the table looks a lot better. Granted, they're all going to be samey, but I'm okay with that. As I talked about in my previous video, I'm okay with everything being the same. But because they are getting ready to relaunch and do a dungeon Kickstarter for all their dungeon encounters, I don't know what models are going to be in it. Don't know what they're going to do. So I'm going to kind of hold off on doing any more of these until they launch that Kickstarter and get that ready to go. But for right now, that's what my rats are going to look like. I am currently in the process of painting this orc, and I'm just having so much fun with it. I still need to finish up the hair and do some highlighting of the leather work. But that green, like, I love my orcs bright green, and on camera, this is just shining green. In real life, it's a little bit duller. So keep in mind when you're looking at people painting miniatures online, sometimes the color a lot brighter because cameras work differently than the human eye and the natural lighting. But yeah, it's still phenomenal. Just love this orc. Love the look. Just love the top knot on this orc. Just phenomenal. I need to shade it back down. Again, contrasting colors. I got a lot of green, a lot of detail, but I want to draw the eye to the face because that orc face, you know, he just looks like, yeah, don't mess with me. He's just got a look about him. So that's why I'm doing the top in a blonde. Actually, I just have a thing for putting blonde hair on models. I don't know why. In my previous video, somebody commented about doors. So I went ahead and ordered some more products from Next Level Miniatures and picked up a bunch of the doors. I have tons of doors for dungeons from different games like Hero Quest and League of Dungeoneers. But these doors are pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Like the doors for League of Dungeoneers have all kinds of flames on them. The doors for Hero Quest are pretty straightforward and simple. But I'm just loving these. They don't offer a closed door, though. You have open door like this, and then you have a portal door like this. But they don't offer a closed door. I'm hoping maybe in their upcoming Kickstarter, they will offer a closed door so that we have something to open and have closed. If not, I could easily convert one of these to a closed door. It wouldn't be hard to make just a door insert to glue in and just have a bunch of different doors that are closed. Or I could just take the portal doors and use the portal doors as a closed door just to indicate that. And then when it opens, you just switch them. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm not that hung up on the fact that I don't have a closed door, but it would be a nice addition. The portals are really cool. I went with green fungi, like a mold kind of going there, but not in the center because it's a pathway, so people are constantly walking by it, but everything off to the edges is all moldy, fungusy, fungi. So anyways, those are the doors. So that was just a really quick look at where I'm at with all of my Next Level Miniatures. I am going to be waiting for their next Kickstarter to launch before I continue painting anything because I want to see what they're doing. Apparently, they are redoing some of the scaling on some of their models, I guess. I'm not 100% sure, but maybe they were a little too small when they initially launched and they're upscaling to fit more in with other model ranges. I don't know. I'm just going to wait, see what they're going to do, see what's in their upcoming Kickstarter, and then decide, okay, the stuff that I have, this is what I need to paint. This is what they're going to redo, and we'll just play it from there. But yeah, that's just a quick update. These models are fantastic. The price point is amazing at $1.50 a model. You can't go wrong. This is like right up there with Reaper and some of the other more affordable brands of miniatures. Some of this detail is on par with GW, but GW likes to throw on a bunch of other bits and bobs that I don't like. So these are streamlined, simple to paint, quick, easy, get them on the table, have a good time. Awesome. And I still need to get like more orcs done. I got to get the goblins all done, but once we figure out what they're going to do with their next Kickstarter, I'll be able to jump in and start painting up those models depending on where they're going to go. But I'm so close to getting my Warhammer Quest project done. And Little Monk is working on redoing all the character sheets and all the character books and is going to be putting it out in a print format. I'm waiting on my boards. I ordered all the boards from him. Like, so much going on with the Warhammer Quest, but it's like right at the tip of getting everything accomplished and done for that project. So thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye.